Hey, what's up, Sparkers? Today's demonstration is going to be the crunchy amps. So I've done the clean and the glassy, and these are the crunchy amps. So these are somewhere right in between sort of clean and metal sound, right? So there's sort of a progression from clean to glassy to crunchy to high gain to metal, right? So these are going to have a pretty decent amount of breakup and kind of distortion sound to them, right? Especially as you raise the gain up. And as a result of that, these amps tend to have a little bit more depth to them. So I did a little bit of a different routine on this one. I still have the even settings, which is all fives across the amp. And then I did my custom settings, but I've also used the default settings. So there was all of these four amps had default configuration settings on them, so I'm going to show you those as well, and I'll do that again with both the Stratocaster and the Les Paul. So this is the American Deluxe, which is again based on the Fender 57 custom deluxe amplifier. So we'll start with the Strat. This is in the neck pickup position. Middle pickup position. And bridge. And we'll switch over to the Les Paul. So starting with the rhythm pickup position. So you can hear the meatier, crunchier sound with the humbuckers on the Les Paul there. And this is the middle pickup position. And treble. To the default American Deluxe setting here, and we'll show that here. So you got about a 7 on the gain, a 6 on the bass, about a 2 or so on the middle, a 4 on the treble, and a 7 on the volume. That's the treble, middle pickup position on the Les Paul. Now we'll switch over to the Strat, starting with the neck pickup position. Middle. And bridge. Again, that's the default settings for the 57 Fender, and I've got my custom settings here. So I put a little bit more gain on this one. So that's the Strat on the bridge pickup position, and here's middle. And we'll switch to the Les Paul again, starting with the rhythm pickup position. Middle. And treble. So obviously that Les Paul's a little meatier on this guy. And so that rounds out the 57 custom Deluxe. So the next up is the Marshall Super Lead. This is actually in the app, it's called the Plexiglass, but it's based on the Marshall Super Lead amp. Super Lead 100. So this is the Marshall Super Lead 100. Again, we'll start with the default settings. I'm sorry, the even settings. This is all fives settings. So this is the rhythm pickup position on the Les Paul. Middle pickup position. And treble. So even at all fives, you can tell that this guy's got a little bit more kick to it than the previous Fender amp. And you'll see that even more when we switch to the default and the custom configuration. So this is the Strat on the neck pickup, or the neck pickup position. Middle. And the bridge. Let's go to the Marshall Super Lead default settings. We'll take a look here. This is about looks like about a 7 or so on the gain. It's about a 6 on the bass, a 5 on the middle, about a 4 on the treble, and a 4 or so on the volume. I'll start again on the neck pickup position. Middle pickup position. And here's the last position. So that was the bridge pickup position on the Strat. But now we'll switch back to the Les Paul. All right, this is the rhythm pickup position with the Les Paul on the Super Lead Marshall 100. Middle. And treble. So that's, again, the default configuration. Now we're going to switch over to my custom configuration on the Super Lead, which is, again, the Plexiglass. And so I've got about an 8 or so on the gain. I cranked that a little bit more. About a 6 on the bass, about a 7 on the middle, 6 or so on the treble, and a 6 on the volume. So this is the rhythm pickup position on the Les Paul. Middle. And treble. Now we'll switch to the Strat. Here's the neck pickup position with the Strat. Middle. And the bridge. So that is my custom the Super Lead 100 with the Strat. So that rounds it out for the first two amps, the first two crunchy amps, and now we're going to switch into the third crunchy amp, which is this is another Marshall. So this is the JM45 in the app, and I'll start with the even settings again, which is all fives, and this is based on the Marshall JTM45. So that's an easy one to remember. The JTM45 Marshall amp. It's a 45-watt amp. It's actually kind of based on, this is one of the very first Marshall amps that exists. So this is the Strat on the neck pickup position. And the middle. Bridge. Now we'll switch over to the Les Paul. This is the rhythm pickup position with the Les Paul. And both pickups. And treble. So that is the even, all fives on those settings, and now we're going to go to the default configuration, and we'll check that out real quick here. So that's about a 6 or a 7 on the gain, about a 6 on the bass, looks like about a 4 or so on the middle, about a 5.5 on the treble, and a 6 or so on the volume. So let's start with the rhythm pickup position on the Les Paul. Both pickups. And the treble. So that's the Les Paul. Now we're going to switch to the Strat. Start with the neck pickup position. Middle. And the bridge. So there you go. That's the default configuration for the JTM45. And now we'll do my custom configuration on this guy. And again, I cranked the gain a little bit on this. So that's about a 7.5 or so. Bass is around a 3 or a 4. The middle's at around 7. Treble's at around 8. And volume's around 7. So this is the rhythm pickup position on the Strat. And middle pickup position. And neck pickup position. So now we'll switch back to the Les Paul, starting with the rhythm pickup position on the Les Paul. This is again the custom JTM45. Both pickups. And treble. I should point out I'm using maybe not the best riff for these things. It's just kind of one that I can play, you know, fairly consistently across each of these. But these sounds tend to be kind of good for vintage rock and sort of blues tones. So that's another thing to keep in mind here. So that was the Les Paul with the custom configuration on the JTM45. So now we're going to switch over to the final amp model, which is the Fender Deluxe Reverb. So this is the second Fender, and we'll start with the even configuration. So I'm still on the Les Paul, and we're going to play the Les Paul first. Pickup position. You can already hear that that's got quite a bit of meat to it, quite a bit of tone, a lot of bottom tones in there. So this is the both pickups. treble. So now we'll switch to the Strat, starting with the neck pickup position. The middle. And bridge. So now we'll switch over to the default configuration, and we'll run through these settings here real quick. They set the gain pretty low on this one, so you'll see my custom configuration. I turned the gain way up, but this is about a 3 on the gain, about a 4 on the bass, it's a 3 on the middle, about a 2 or so on the treble, and up to a 6 or 7 on the volume. So kind of an interesting default configuration for this this Fender Deluxe Reverb. But here you go. This is the Strat still on the neck pickup. And the middle. And the bridge. So that's the Strat on the default settings. Let's switch over to the Les Paul. All right, starting with the rhythm pickup position. Again, you can hear the big difference with these humbuckers between on this amp. Here's the middle, or both pickup positions, both pickups. Treble. So that's again, this is the default amp settings for the Fender Deluxe Reverb, and now we will do my custom configuration for this guy. It's down here at the bottom, and here's a quick walkthrough of the settings. I got the gain at a 7, I got the bass way down at a 2, the middle is up to a 6, and the treble's at about a 7.5, and the volume's at about an 8. So this is the rhythm position on the Les Paul. Probably got that cranked a little high. I'm going to drop the volume there just a tad. Oops. Just so I'm not overdriving the mic. Let's do that again. Here's both pickups. And treble. And last but not least, we'll switch to the Strat. All right, so we got the neck pickup position on the Strat with the custom Deluxe Reverb setting. Middle pickup. And the bridge. So there you go. That's all 4 of the crunchy amps, both the guitars, 3 different pickup positions for each, and also 3 different tone configurations on each amp, right? So it was the flat or even settings where they're all set to 5. It was the default settings. And when I say default, I just mean that, you know, if you select a new amp, right? If you just go to the amp selector knob, you'll see them all set to a certain setting by default, right? So, oops, that's not where I meant to go. So you go on this and just pick any random amp, and you will see them each have their own sort of customized default settings. So that's what I meant on that. So all 4 of those amps, I used that default setting. And then again, I did my own custom setting. So I gave you a pretty wide spectrum of flavor for each of these 3 amps with a couple of different guitars. These are great amp sounds. You know, again, this is kind of the the crunchy, bluesy, vintage rock kind of a feel to these amps. They are all very different sounding, obviously, even though there was two Fenders and two Marshalls in the mix there. You can hear the difference between those four different amps. So I hope this helps you guys out. And again, keep playing with the settings on each of these guys. You're going to find something that you like. And it's going to be custom to each of your, whatever song you're playing or whatever sound you're going for. So just keep that in mind, that all of these things are very customizable. So hopefully this helps, and we will see you next time. Keep on sparking. Thanks.